Hi, everyone. This is Amber and my sister Sam, and this is our podcast, Lipstick, Lies, and Liberation. Today, we're going to do a pop culture episode. We had done one with Sex and the City before and Emily in Paris, and we're going to talk about The Devil Wears Prada because we know the second one is in the movie theaters and came out, so we wanted to go over the first one. And that movie kind of touches on a lot of different topics for women and empowerment in the workplace and how it can filter into your personal life and how to balance that. But first we're going to get into our segment where we do our lipstick lie and liberation for the week, and Sam, you can go first.
Okay, what's up? What's up? So my lipstick this week is fairy hair. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Okay, so it's like these tinsel pieces,
Hmm.
and you can't really see because my hair's up, but I have like 25 of them, I think. Yeah, it's hard to show you. It's best on the side. But in if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But it's basically these little strands of tinsel, and I didn't know this, but apparently there's like a brown one that looks really cool. All the women I saw with it, I was in Black Mountain and there's like a little shop that does it. And all the women I saw with it were like had like really blonde or like gray hair. Like there were some older women. And it
Yeah.
just looked so pretty. Like they would just move their head and it would be shimmering. And so I'm excited to have mine, but I'm excited to like go somewhere else and get because I saw there's like it fits in more with like brown. It's like copper and brown shimmery, but it just
Yeah.
makes it look like your hair is glittering in the sun all the time and it like weaves into your hair and it's so cute. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That looks adorable.
Yeah, I'm just in my full whimsy mode this summer. So, fairy hair is my lipstick. My lie is so me and my fiance went to Black Mountain. We were on our way to Asheville to go to a friend's 40th birthday party, and we stopped halfway, which is like Black Mountain, and my fiance like he used to be a camp counselor at this really cute camp. So we stayed there and he got to show me around. And I used to live in Asheville, which is 20 minutes away from Black Mountain, but for some reason I never went when I lived there. There are lots of like really cute surrounding towns that are like 20, 25 minutes away that are adorable, but I didn't make it to most of them. But anyway, so I like really, yeah, I would love to live there, but astrocartography is like how your astrology lines, basically the path of the planet, you like draw a line of the path of the planet like over the earth, like the moment you're born. And so basically it tells you like you don't want to live on your Pluto line, but you would want to live on your sun line. And so
I've
when I
just
lived
started seeing stuff like that this last year. I didn't even know like where you're living like can affect your life so much, but supposedly there is a lot behind that.
Yes. So, I love astrology. I do think it has power and merit. Like I know it does for me. And but so it was funny because when I lived in Asheville, it was like a very rough, bad time for me. And it's supposedly for astrocartography, it's like not the best place. Like everything that it said would come up because of what line is there came up when I was there. So
Yeah.
but the lie I'm telling myself is, or the lie I'm releasing is like that I can't live somewhere just because of the astrocartography. Because I would love to live in Black Mountain and like I'm not gonna let that hold me back. And I also think there's like a shadow aspect and a light aspect. So if you can work through the shadow aspect, I think you can reach the positive side. And I did hear someone say like even if you can't live in a positive aspect, like my sun line goes right through like Arizona, like Sedona and like Austin, Texas is a really good place for me. And then also like Sedona, Paris is a really good place for me, and like a number of other places. And so if you can't like just up and move to one of those places, then you
Mhm.
can find ways to channel the energy of that place. So like you could get a
Okay.
mug made from an artist who lives in that place, or buy
Mhm.
artwork or photos of that place and just kind of bring that energy into your home, even if you just can't live there in the moment. So anyway, I'm letting the lie go of like I can't ever live in this beautiful place that I love because
Yeah.
of astrocartography. And then my liberation is not waiting for life to implode to make a change. Um,
That is a very good thing to practice. Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, because all the other times that I ever wanted to move in the past, like I lived in Philly for 11 years and I wanted to move so bad when I lived there. And
Yeah.
I did move. I moved to Asheville and it wasn't the best experience because the whole town survives on tourism and it was not the tourism season when I moved. And yeah, but anyway, I like went back to Philly and I just wanted to leave, but I like wouldn't let myself. And it was literally until like I was forced to because I couldn't, like, I needed time to heal and like moved in with our parents for a little bit in the middle of nowhere in Virginia. And like, it wasn't until life forced me to make that change that I made the change. And so
Yeah.
now, like, Richmond is amazing and I love Richmond and like, I feel lucky to live here and it's safe and beautiful and everyone's nice. And like, there, there's so much free stuff that's amazing. It's just crazy. Like there's so many good things about Richmond, but it just doesn't feel like I don't feel inspired being here. And I want to live somewhere
Okay.
that has like a current of inspiration or creativity for me. And whether it's music or art or nature, and like it has all those things in little doses, but it's just not enough for me. It's not my flavor. Um, so I don't know. I'm like, I want to live a lot of places in my life, and like, I don't have to wait until something becomes intolerable or implodes to make a change. So,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that. I think that's really good because I think that's usually like the catalyst for most people, right? Is when something goes wrong and then you make this change and you're like, why couldn't I have done this before? Like it was always available, it was always an option. And I think it's good. I think like, some people are so used to having like a lot of obstacles in life. And then when you get to a place in life where you kind of settle down and things are stable and peaceful, then like your like mindset kind of changes and you can start making those decisions like when you're in like a solid place.
I don't think I ever thought I would get to a solid place.
Uh, Me too.
Yeah.
And I have to say, like for the first time in my life, like things are very calm and it's hard to get yourself like used to that, even though it's a great thing.
Yeah. Girl, so
So,
lipstick lie and liberation.
okay. So my lipstick was actually putting on a bikini this week because it's been like super hot where I am and we had a gorgeous weekend last weekend and it was my first time putting on a bikini or like a swimsuit for the season and like normally I would like kind of get in my head so like I guess it was like kind of liberating in a way too but I've just been feeling like so fantastic lately and it's not about like a number on a scale or like fitting into certain things. It's just like I feel so good health wise, happiness wise.
Yeah.
Like I put on that bathing suit and I was like, I didn't think about like any imperfections or anything like that. I was just like, hell yeah. Like it's bathing suit time. Like it's summer. And
Yeah.
I was in a good mood all day. And like all those like insecurities that I think like normally pop up for women, like no matter what you look like, because we're all very critical, I think, if we're being honest, even with ourselves.
Yeah.
I didn't have that. I was just excited and I had fun walking around in my little bikini. So
Amazing. Love that.
yeah, and it's one I got last year that felt like super skimpy on me that I wasn't comfortable in because
Yeah.
I was so used to always like having like the mom bathing suits and stuff. And then I
Yeah.
was kind of in an environment for a while last year where things were like a little more like liberal for like women no matter what age you were at.
Yeah.
So putting it on this year felt different because I was like really into it as opposed to being like a little standoffish or like, oh no, I can't wear something like that. I'm in my 40s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my lipstick because that was fun.
Excellent.
And my lie was I think I've been like I like started a job about a month ago where I go in the office and I'm used to being remote and it's a lot with the kids and their schedule. And like so I had this lie that like I couldn't have a 9 to 5 or be in the office and make everything work. And like this last week I've been like realizing like that definitely was a lie that I like told myself for some reason because things are smooth and I'm doing it and it's been really great. So that's definitely a lie. I mean, like things are like harder. I'm definitely go, go, go all day, but like there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
in my 40s and I have 3 kids. Like if I'm not having a busy day, like I'm probably doing something wrong during the week. You know what I mean? Like it's just the way I've set my life up. Like it's normal. So that was my lie. And my liberation was I used to like to jog a lot before I got sick and before I got cancer. And when I got sick, it like came along for some reason with like heart issues where I would have tachycardia easily. So it's something I like gave up and I never went back to because I was so scared to like do certain like exercises that would really get my heart rate up. And like I've always stuck to like Pilates and yoga and things that tone but don't necessarily like get your heart rate. But like the last month and a half, I just started jogging because like I just wanted to get energy out and I just wanted to like feel powerful and like run. And I've been doing it and it's been great. And
Oh,
I've been
yeah.
fine and there's been no problem. And I'm like jogging really well. I'm not running. I'm not going to say I'm running. It's
Yeah.
not that deep, but I do jog and it's been really nice. So it's been liberating, like reclaiming that and knowing that like it's safe for my body.
Wow. Cheers. That's
Yeah.
huge.
So it's been good.
Amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. Big. Yeah. No, I'm kind of in a similar boat, but I haven't reached that other side, but I've been like wanting to work out and like doing weights and walking more
Mhm.
and like yeah, and feeling safe to do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was so crazy. Amber was diagnosed with cancer and I was diagnosed with POTS and we had similar symptoms. Um,
Mhm.
yeah,
Similar
wild.
symptoms, like some of the similar struggles, got sick around the same time.
Totally.
Like life comes to a screeching halt for both of us and like ended up having totally different things and different journeys from it. Yeah, yeah, so I definitely want to do an episode about women's health and being your own health advocate and talk about that because I both think we have like some very good stories and I just like always talk to people as much as I can whenever they tell me about concerns that they have because it is easy to be dismissed as a woman by physicians. So I think it's important to like learn how to like speak up for yourself and trust your body.
Yeah. Yeah. We should definitely do that. Okay, we should get into the episode. I have a lot to say. I think Amber does too about this movie. So it might have to be two parts, but yeah. Do you want to start? Or you want me to dive in?
You go ahead and dive in.
Okay, so my first note, which is like literally a minute, like a few minutes into the movie, is Nate, her boyfriend, has a quote where he says, "You got a job at a fashion magazine? Was it a phone interview?"
Yes. Oh my God. So it's
Like,
like all of a sudden, start off the bat, you've got this dig from your significant other.
yeah, supposed good boyfriend that like you don't want to lose. Like, he's
This
being
is so
so
cool.
rude. And I can't, like, I couldn't believe he said that. Was it a phone interview? So he's already immediately saying that, like, he's aware of fashion and she is not fashionable and
Yes.
that she wouldn't fit in and that, like, he couldn't, like, it's, people will be like, he was joking, but, like, no, there's truth to that. There's opinions and, like, no joke is ever like 100% not like a little bit of truth in there.
Well,
Um,
not when it's directed as like, you know, like an insult towards the person that you're with. And you know what I wish? Because like I had picked up on it, but not as like a point. But
yeah.
I wish I had made note of her reaction. Do you know how she reacted to that? Did she laugh it off like, oh, it doesn't bother me? Or did she?
She laughed it off. She was like, "Hey," and like slapped him kind of like a little playful like push
Mhm.
slash like play like pretend hit,
Yeah.
like, "Hey, like that's so bad," or so, and then like laughing and she was like, I know." Like, yeah, she was playing it off, laughing and playing it off. Yeah, so Nate, that's already, if you want to know my opinions on Nate, that's already like setting the
I do
scene.
I do love how like it's definitely one of those movies where they start her off and like she's gorgeous, right? She's just
Yeah.
naturally pretty, but like, oh no, her hair's frizzy and oh no, she has like a baggy sweater on. And then when she gets further in the movie, it's like suddenly she's got like sleek hair and she's curling her eyelashes and it's like not much has changed. She's still gorgeous.
Yeah, they make
But
it seem so extreme.
it's so funny.
Yeah, and then the whole like, "Oh, I'm a size 4 now," when he's like, "Okay, 6," and she's like, 4. Because
Yeah.
she lost weight. Like, who fucking
Yeah.
cares?
And they
Like,
make it seem like size 6 is like so large when honestly, like that is probably thin. Like considered thin for like most of the population to be a size
it's
6, you know?
it's a very small, like, it's crazy.
Yes.
And it's not about your weight, it's about your body type and shape because Like I guarantee you that Taylor Swift isn't even a size 6 because she
Mm.
is tall and big and like she's just a tall human. So
Hmm.
like nothing she can do besides when she was like anorexic in her early career. But like if you compare her to Nicole Richie, like Nicole
Hmm.
Richie pregnant is probably still going to be a smaller size than Taylor just because like it's extremely different body frames.
Yeah,
So it's
like your
like,
bone structure makes a difference. Like if you have like
yeah,
wider hips, you're automatically going to be a bigger size pants. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like me, like my body type, even if when I've been very, very thin, I still would never look like a Victoria's Secret model. Like that's
mhm.
just not possible. Like
Yeah.
it's so funny not understanding that as a teenager and like not understanding that when this movie came out. Like
Mhm.
that I feel like that wasn't common knowledge. Like I didn't hear anyone talking about that and like I didn't know that. Like I was like if I just get skinny enough I'll look like that. And it's like no, I'd have to be tall and lanky and like I
No, you would literally have to grow like 6 more inches to even try.
legit or like 7 or 8. Like I'm 5'1" and like it's just not
And if
ever
you're mostly torso, then you're out of it already because like you need long legs to be one of those women, you know? They've got gorgeous legs that strut down the runway.
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And I just wish I like understood about body types back then. But yeah, the body shaming is like insane. But
It
just
is.
focusing on like the relate well, mainly focusing on the relationship aspect. So
Hmm.
my next note that I made is harsh mentorship or abusive question mark. And then women being perceived as bosses or bossy, and if it were a man, would it be different? Um, yeah, Andy literally says that in the movie at the end to Christian Thompson, the like,
She
um,
does. And I
yeah,
do like that. Yeah, she says if Miranda was a man, nobody would be talking about her like this.
yeah, no one would say a thing. It would be fine. It would be normal.
Yeah.
Which shows like respect that she does respect her. And it's funny. So when I worked at Penn Medicine, I was 21. I worked in geriatrics and I managed the geriatric home care program. And I had this physician who I worked for who would make me cry like the first 3 months that I worked there. It was insane. Dr. Joan Weinrib, she was amazing. She's incredible. I think she's still practicing. So if you're in Philly and need a geriatric doctor, like try to go see her because she's
Mhm.
the best ever. She's won like Doctor of the Year so many times in a row. Like she oversees all these different nursing homes. Like she's just brilliant and she has really high standards and she expects everyone to meet her at those standards. And
Yeah.
so she she used to tell me to get someone an appointment for surgery. They would be in the hospital and she'd be like, Mr. Brown needs an appointment for surgery tomorrow. He gets out of the like ER today. And I would be like, so I'd call and they'd be like, we don't have an appointment for 3 months, which is typical in the United States. The healthcare system is crazy and you always have to wait. And she would be like, I said tomorrow, not 3 months. Call again. And I would be like, and I was like 21, I would just cry and I'd be like, I don't know what to do. And then she taught me, she was like, people only have 7 ways of saying no. Did you call 8 times? And
Oh my gosh, that's like so nerve-wracking to have to call the same place 8 times.
well, especially me, I was so used to people pleasing, and the first time I
Yeah.
made a mistake, my first day, I had to call the nurse practitioner because you're not supposed to say like the nurse will call you back. So I said that, and then I had to call the nurse practitioner. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I said that the nurse would call him back. I can't believe I'm so sorry. I didn't mean that." And he was like, "Sam, you're gonna make mistakes. It's okay." And I like cried because like our dad, like I had never been told that, and. So yeah, anyway, she was intense mentorship. Like she really trained me and then I got really good. I like we used to go and like have lunch places where I knew people from other um offices would be at and I would network and get their direct number to like schedule with a doctor and be like, can they come early in the morning this day? Like, can they do and then I just was so good. Like she pushed me to be really good and she taught me an invaluable lesson. And it's like, is it abusive or is it like abusive to have high standards and to like demand people to keep trying or to do better, but like, or I mean, she wasn't ever yelling. She did,
I mean,
it's
I just think we still live in a world where, like, if a woman is in a high position and she asserts her authority
yeah,
the same way a man would, that it's like more shocking, or it gets more attention and people talk about it more, because like you have talked about that boss a couple times, and like
yeah,
it's always in the highest regard, you know what I
yeah,
mean? And like I have worked for like many attorneys, and most of them have been males, and I've worked for some people who are impossible, but I had one attorney who people, it was a female, and she said people would say that she was like difficult to work with, she would go through so many assistants, like, she had a hard time getting along with people.
yeah,
And I understood why people thought that, but she was the same thing. She
yeah,
expected like excellence, and that was it. Like if her name was
yeah,
going on something, it needed to be correct. If something
yeah,
was going out with her name, and like I like did well working with her because like I respected that. And I also, there was a part of me that felt like she was in a way still, and I hate to say it, in kind of a man's world. And it's
yeah,
like she had to like assert herself in a certain way that maybe a man can either choose to be or choose to be like a little more easygoing. But whenever I look back about working at her with her, I mean, she was absolutely brilliant. She's probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. And so like even if she got a little like, a certain way with me, like I would
yeah.
never let her hurt my feelings, because I was like, she just wants it to be correct and she wants it to be good. And like she has no right not to expect that.
Yeah, well, it's like it's not about you, it's about the work.
Yes.
That's the
But
main.
I do think Miranda gets a little like, she does have some underdigs where she like will say something about Andy's comment or her like appearances or other things. So like there is an undertone
Yes,
of a little abusiveness. Um,
agreed.
but I don't know. I think it's the movie. It's dramatic.
Yes, yeah, they are exaggerating. It's a movie, but I mean, it is based on Anna Wintour. So, this
Mhm.
woman who worked for her wrote a book, and that's what this is based off of. So,
Yeah.
who is the editor in chief at Vogue? I might be wrong in that title.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's who it is. Um, but yeah, so yeah, loving that she's defending Miranda, but then also, yeah, the things about like give a chance to the smart fat girl, like that was
Yeah.
so like that's different. That's not about the work.
Or at one point she's like, your shoes. She just
Yeah.
looks at her shoes like nothing, you know what I mean? So
Mhm. She was like, it's a viral sound on social media right now where she's like, and Andy or and Emily, and then she like looks down at her shoes and then looks back up slowly and she goes, that's all. And like saying she's disgusted by her shoes.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so the next thing, I think I heard this from someone talking about the movie, but I love how she commands attention and power by being very soft-spoken. Like most
Mm.
people, yeah, like she almost requires people to like lean in and like be really quiet when she speaks rather than people who try to get attention or like they try to be loud and bold and like speak over people and just be loud and obnoxious. And she's like, I'm gonna whisper basically all the time. And like you have to, and they show it when they're doing the run through with the scene with the dress, with the turquoise belt. And she
Mm.
like, yeah, and she talks about the cerulean sweater that was picked out for Andy by the people in the room. But during the run through, she like you can see them like leaning in to like hear her because she's just always like whispering. Even when she's
Mm.
pissed off, she's like whispering and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's like commanding, like, like attention and like in a way control, but in
Mhm.
a way where you don't have to be like loud or big or aggressive or threatening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool, like, different way of being.
Yeah.
The lie of body size, inner beauty versus outer beauty. I love how he says, like, Stanley Tucci, who plays Nigel, is like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, that's what this billion-dollar industry is all about, inner beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Andy wrestles with that as she gets into like the lifestyle, like she has no interest in fashion or, like it doesn't make it appear like she's into like her looks or like that kind of stuff is very important to her, materialistic things. Like, I don't know if you notice, like, her boyfriend is always complaining about the price of something. Like, that cheese costs $8 or that egg costs $5. And it's like smaller amounts, but he's always highlighting it. So I
Yeah.
think it kind of shows that contrast of her going from like, like a very like subtle lifestyle to a very glamorous lifestyle very quickly. And at first, like, we watch her kind of like in a way start to lose herself, start to prioritize things that she hadn't prioritized before, let important things to her in her life fall to the wayside. And then, towards the end of the movie, it catches up to her and she's like, I don't want this. And she's like, everybody wants this, everybody wants to be us. But she's like, no, I don't, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, it's interesting that like creating beauty is now proven. I forget the word for it, but it's proven by neuroscience that like beauty is really good for our brain and it's healing for our brain,
Mhm.
and that we actually need beauty to thrive as a species because it helps us like stay positive and like feel like there's a purpose for living.
Yeah.
So like fashion and expressing yourself is like an extension of beauty, and it is something that is more feminine, like making a home beautiful. And it's so funny. I love that quote. It's like if men always say they're visual creatures, but like why do they live like that then?
That's true. That is true.
Like okay, why do you live like that? Like, if you're so visual. But yeah, like beautifying your space yourself is seen as feminine, and so it's like seen as frivolous. But meanwhile, the one girl is literally like an art gallerist. Like she understands beauty and like an artistic application of whether it's clothes or paint or it doesn't matter. And it's weird, the one guy who's in it, the tall guy, which they never say if he's dating that girl or not, the friend.
Mhm.
But he's
Oh,
like
yeah.
always, yeah, he like knows all the designers, he knows all the details, but then they're always like giving him shit for it.
Hmm.
Like that is so weird. Like I don't know why they included him as a character, like why they thought it was so necessary to have a friend man who like knew everything and was in the know, but they're like, okay, you're starting to scare me. Like it's like
Yeah. Well, it's almost like it's okay that like Nigel, like I like do you get that like I don't know, like that's his job and it's okay that he's so entranced in it and stuff, but if you're just like a regular very straight man who has nothing to do with fashion, it almost gives off that like impression like you should like have no interest in it.
well, yeah, it's like more sexist and misogynistic. Like, oh, you're like a man who works in finance. Like, why do
Hmm.
you shouldn't be interested in this? Like, it's freaking me out that you're interested in these frivolous things or
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and then my next note was like taking your work seriously as a woman versus rejecting capitalism. So it's like the whole time her friends are like rejecting capitalism, but they like have to exist in the system. So it's like they still are working jobs. Like even Nate says at one point that like he's not curing cancer, like he was making a tomato reduction or something all day that like
Hmm.
what he's doing isn't anything life-changing, but he thinks that you should do it with dignity and that he thinks Andy wasn't doing it with dignity because she kept saying that she didn't have a choice. But I think what it's like her friends are more like we live in this system, we're trying to do a good job at what we do, but we don't care. Whereas like Andy's in a world where these clothes are very linked to like status symbols and wealth and abundance and achieving and being really good at capitalism. So like Christian Thompson is like, you have to get ahead, you have to prioritize yourself, like, you have to ask for favors, like, you got to work hard. And everyone's like, a million girls would kill for this opportunity. So she's kind of like being brought into this other world, which is like, no, you can succeed at this game that we're all forced to play. And it can look so glamorous, it can be so fun. And she's like being drawn in and like, private jet for Miranda, like all these parties, like being introduced to all these fancy people. And it's like those weren't her priorities beforehand. She was devoted to like journalism, which is reporting the truth and uncovering things. And then she's kind of being pulled into like this world of like ascending to the top. Like that is the vision, is ascending to the top and like more an individual relationship with life and economy. So,
But I
yeah,
think the
like,
problem, yeah, I think the problem for her is like, so like, and I think like with a lot of like wealthy people, right? Like you have access to like, like quick, easy things like, oh, this like event that feels glamorous, or this outfit that makes me feel really pretty that like is expensive, or like by a designer and stuff, and like all those flashy things, or like driving around with the driver, and all this stuff. And but like at the end of the day, she was losing like all of the things that were like actually fulfilling in her life for her, which was like her relationship with her friends, her relationship with her dad, like her relationship with her boyfriend, like working on journalism, which is something she was passionate about, and writing. So like she was losing those kind of things. So I think all of the things that came with the money and the status and the symbols became unfulfilling for her. So like I think at first it's like a grab, like this kind of lifestyle, right? It's like, look at this, like you've never had this before. It's so beautiful. These people look so happy. And like you get pulled into it. And then once you're in it, and you're doing it and you've experienced it, I think for a lot of people, it almost becomes like, well, I have all these things, but I still don't feel happy, or I still don't feel fulfilled. And I think that's what was like happening with her, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because like being someone who takes your work seriously, but then also like not caring about the capitalism game, like only care like I only care about what I'm able to do with whatever money I make. And like if I have more money, then I can make more change and like have more control and more opportunities. But other than that, like the idea that I used to be so obsessed with like becoming wealthy because I feel like it used to make me feel like then I would prove to people in high school that I was smart. I would prove to our parents that I was special and worthy and like a golden child, and that I can do anything and like prove all these things. And that is often what's behind like accumulating a lot of wealth and being good at the capitalism game. But it is just a game. And at the top, it doesn't really mean anything if you don't have those other things, which is like what Miranda is kind of like showing. Like she doesn't really have these other things, and but she's like technically won the game. So
Yeah,
it's
like she didn't have a good marriage.
Mhm.
She didn't seem like extremely close with her children. You know what I mean? Like she was
Yeah.
prioritizing other things. And I think like the shift is when like, I mean, like being wealthy and having money is like a beautiful, fun thing,
Mhm.
right? Like if you can do it, like do it, but
Yeah.
it's not gonna make you feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Like it's like that, what's that Tony Robbins like quote? Like, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. I think that's his
Yeah.
quote. And
Yeah.
it's so true because like so many people like reach that and stuff, but they have a marriage that's loveless or disconnected, like they have children, but they don't do all the things with them. They lose their friendships. And then like so at the end of the day, like you won the game, like you're saying, but then you're sitting there, and a lot of people allow it to change who they are. And then that's what was happening with her as well when they were in the car at the end. And she's like, I would never do what you did to Nigel. And she said, you've already done it. And she
Yeah.
was like, no, I haven't. And she goes, you did it to Emily. And
Mhm.
then she sits and she's like, okay, so am I going to stay and have access to these things that don't fulfill me,
Yeah.
and continue to do things to people that aren't in line with me, and have these empty relationships and surround myself with empty people who don't bring value or have my back or put me first and are always selfish? Or
Yeah.
am I going to like take a step back and, you know,
Yeah.
break
Well,
free?
yeah. I love that. One of my notes is that Andy's identity is grounded in working hard and being the best. So she's committed to doing whatever it takes to stay in alignment with that overachieving identity. So like when Nigel calls her out and was like, you're not trying, and then she like really gets like, okay, I will be the best because I'm someone who's an overachiever. I work hard, whatever. But Miranda is the first person, is like Miranda's gift to her is she helps her break free from that achievement obsessed identity and instead choose like she's no longer aligning with being the good girl, working really hard, figure anything out and the like capitalist focused identity. And instead, she's like consciously choosing and building for herself rather
Hmm.
than like what she probably grew up with, which was like go to a really good school, be the smartest in the class, do the best you can, work really hard. Like she probably, which again is like a very American
Hmm.
way of being. And so Miranda in the end like helps her decide to consciously choose who she wants to be. And this is the first time I watched it, the relationship with Nate, I was like, oh my God, she like ruined her relationship. This
Hmm.
second, and I would think I was in high school or something. The second time I watched it, I was like, he is so annoying. I'm so glad she ruined it.
He's not supportive at all.
No,
He is just like always like judging her. Like she's actually like whether he like loved her job or not, she was doing really well and it was going to catapult her to something that she could then enjoy. And
which
he
he
didn't
proved at
support
the end.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't support that. And then at the end where she's like, "Oh, I ruined things." And he's like, "I'm moving to Boston." And he's like, "We can move something out." And I said, "I know this girl who just got this job that she likes is not going to move to Boston to be with her loser chef boyfriend who
Yeah.
like doesn't put her first."
Yeah, he enjoys all the perks like the lingerie and the dress that he loves how she looks now, but he hates that like she's working hard and Pat has something of her own. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
chefs have crazy schedules. Like I've worked in
Yeah.
restaurants. Chefs have insane schedules. And she goes for a work trip for a week to Paris and comes back and he's up and moved without
Yeah.
even talking to her to Chicago for a job when she's so obsessed about her job, she can't make it to dinner on time. But at
Yeah.
least she's still showing up and trying. And he
Mhm.
just fucking moves to another city for his job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's the one work obsessed.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
very
And he's like,
bizarre.
and then it's like a happy ending because he's like, "Oh, I think we could work something out." Like, oh, how lucky is she that he
Yes,
is willing to work something out for her.
yes.
It's like, girl.
And for real. And then I wrote, I don't really know what the takeaway from this movie is.
Mhm.
Like capitalism sucks, but we can't escape it. Keeping a mediocre boyfriend is worth losing a good job that can open a lot of doors for you. Or if fashion gives you confidence and help you sleep with hot men in Paris. Like what
Yeah,
is
or you can be a total girl boss and have respect from everybody, but your husband's gonna leave you, and you're like multiple husbands because she said this is like another divorce, and like the people in your company are gonna try to backstab you and replace you with somebody younger. Remember when they said that she's
yeah.
younger and cheaper? So like there was like a lot of things that like it was like, oh, Miranda's character was like, you can have this status but you can't have everything. So women, pick a lane. Either
Yes.
have the family, be the good one, have a great husband, or be career driven and successful. But then you're just going to keep getting divorced and
Yeah.
everybody's going to hate you and they're going to try to replace you the second you have a wrinkle.
Your loser boyfriend is going to be really upset when you're late to dinner. Like
Yeah.
the
It's
only
like for both of them.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say that I realized, I think, not this last time, but the time before that I watched it was, I think what the boyfriend is saying that I missed all the times before is like, he doesn't want her to not do what she's doing. He just wants her to like own it. Like he wants, because he keeps saying, like, you keep saying you don't have a choice, but you do. And this is what
Mhm.
you're choosing. And then he says, like, I just think if she was owning it, and even how Nigel says, like, oh, honey, you're whining. You're not trying. Like if you're choosing to do something in your life, and this is what I think, maybe this is the takeaway, or at least for me, is like, and it kind of goes in line with my liberation of like, I don't have to wait for it to get really bad and I don't have a choice to make a change. Like if
Yeah.
I'm choosing something, put my all into it or don't choose it. And like that standard of excellence, like have that for yourself in your own life, no matter what it is. And
Mhm.
yeah, like if you're choosing something like be like I am prioritizing my work for a year. I am prioritizing um like answering Miranda's calls and like working super hard and doing whatever it takes to fit in and appease the boss so I can get a good review. Like
Yeah.
just yeah, like just being like, you are not my top priority for this year. This is, and like you have to accept that or not. Like I think it's just the lack of like the wishy-washy energy is like not helpful for anyone, and it's like a sense of disempowerment. So I think just knowing what you want and claiming it and going like fully sending it,
Mhm.
people say, is like that's gonna be my takeaway, I guess. Um,
And I think so too, because I feel like, like she had every right to just like when she was getting all this like crap from like her boyfriend or her friends or whatever, just being like, hey guys, like, look, like this is important to me and I'm prioritizing it and this is what I'm going to do. And
yeah.
like, I think that's fair?
Yeah. Also, Christian Thompson is the male Carrie Bradshaw because he seems jealous of Miranda and he's like,
Yes.
talking shit about her and he's like trying to get Andy to talk shit about her. He's a writer. He's always in like designer suits or clothes and at fabulous parties and he's like never working,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah.
somehow has all this money and is at all these parties and like has all this clothes and like is a writer.
Yeah. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah. And he's like going to pair. Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, he's fucking Carrie Bradshaw. Um,
Yeah. And in real life, I feel like his character would be like somebody fun to hang out with in real life for a little bit, but like not somebody to get into a relationship with.
yeah, no, exactly. And
Yeah.
that was the point.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many things I could say about it, but like Miranda choosing to get ahead, like Andy was choosing to work really hard to like
Mhm.
try to get a good recommendation to get a journalism job of her dream. So that was her. Christian was trying to like negotiate a deal for this awesome thing for Runway to be editor in chief. And then like Miranda negotiated herself into staying editor in chief and then negotiated these other people into different roles, just like everyone else was negotiating. But they
Mhm.
made Miranda seem like this evil person
Yeah.
for doing whatever. She was just negotiating the same way everyone else was negotiating. And she
Hmm.
did what she needed to do to keep her job,
Yeah.
which is like,
Hmm.
that's what the chef guy is doing when he shows up for work or when he moves to Chicago.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Not some
Sometimes it's like a
evil,
double standard. Yep.
he's not some evil villain who doesn't deserve love or a marriage.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'd be very interested to see what people think. If you've watched the second one, I'm interested to see how you think it compares. Does Andy become like more in her power? Has Miranda been able to like, balance out her life?
Does
Yeah, I'm
Nate
very
come out as
interested.
gay?
Yeah. Does Andy like have a much better relationship or maybe no relationship at all would be great too. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely let us know because I can't wait to watch it.
I know, I'm excited. I want to go see it in theaters, but I
Yeah.
also kind of want to wait till it's like we can just stream it and be cool.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining us and we're excited to see you next time. You can follow us on Instagram. I'm at Sammy B Love. Amber is doing her really cool segments during the week, her ick shorts on YouTube. We're gonna start posting stuff on
There's so
Instagram
many more too. I got
and
so many
TikTok.
coming.
Yeah, they're coming in lightning hot. Like so, you can take my dating course if you want to learn how to attract an amazing person who isn't innate, who just complains about money and holds you back from your dreams and is a little whiny bitch. That link will be in the notes, and you can give us a 5-star review on Spotify. Follow us and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. We'd love to chat with you. So,
We'll see you next time.
bye.
Bye.